Greetings and welcome back. Thank you for joining me for another video here in the Oxbow. And Happy New Year to those who celebrate New Year's on January 1st. My family and I were traveling, so I had queued up and made a few videos ahead of time that could release over time while we were away. This will be my first video since we came back. And since we've been gone, I really wanted to say thank you to Graham and Carrie-Ann. I hope I said your name right on that. And also throw back to Storm Saga to say thank you for putting all the comments out there and adding a really rich dialogue and very informative things to these videos. I really appreciate what you add, and I'm grateful to have you here. And thank you for engaging. It's fun to talk with y'all and learn with y'all. I appreciate it. Now, where we left off, it is now winter time. I had made a bunch of food, and you'll see that since it was the season change, obviously it stayed in my inventory, which means that its condition dropped quite a bit. It's at 50% for both of these, and that was the pottage and also the meat with gravy. Now, the purpose in making the food was not that I needed it to be in great condition, but so that we can make some use of some of these things that were around. It should not make a difference, being that it's at 50% for our people. So as long as it's there and they can consume it, we should be good to go, and our food total is going to be great. With that, what are we just sitting on? We're sitting on quite a bit of meat. We're still sitting on quite a bit of cabbage, and we're doing well on our water for now. And we have plenty of beetroot. From this point, the next steps to make are to, 35, we won't keep that one around in there. There's just not enough going around. We have plenty of bowls and plates, and we can put some of this back in here to just be cooked. Alrighty. In the wintertime, I think it's time for us to get a wife. We've been waiting a while, and it's time to get a start on that. So,
how is life treating you?
Let's see here. With romance, we've got 100%. How are you doing? Beautiful. And I've never felt love like this. Let's try to get ourselves a wife. And it's the wintertime. It's time for a white wedding. Except it's going to be in springtime. So, here we are. So we'll have a wintertime wedding so we can get ourselves going on our dynasty. And there we are. Now we're married, and it's still the same time of morning. That's fantastic. Alrighty. With the change in season, of course, we do have a thing to consider, which is that we have a lot of people who are assigned to working in the farming area on the farm shed. And, oh no, I changed it at the season. Well, that's fantastic. But we don't need these people sitting here working the field when there's nothing to work. So it would be pretty silly for us to keep them working on that. That being the case, we need to switch some people up so they can be working in the barn. Now, a lot of these people have fairly low skill, which means we're going to build really slowly. Oh, and we have 2 people who are with child. That's fantastic. So the village will expand. And speaking of the village expanding, let's see here. Oops, I shouldn't have just gone straight to her. I was looking at the skill set. So she's kind of across the board, not... Oh, okay, I see why. So he has a 3 in another skill set area, so we're going for that. Alrighty, with that, we have our hunter. We have a fisher. We need somebody to actually do fishing. Our people who are currently there... Now, she's been automatically assigned... Well, she's been assigned to fishing. Or no, she hasn't. She says blacksmith, and I remember assigning her last time around. Oh, he is currently cooking. He's a good fisherman. He is my best fisherman. And he's got a 3 in crafting. She's a hunter. Lamberta's our best hunter too, though. Interesting. Well, we don't have to have the maximum point values. It'll be okay. Who can we just toss on fishing as a thing for now? Not him, because he's not going to do the best. But he also isn't going to do the best there. Alright, so my wife Lamberta, she could be a good extractor, which I think we'll end up doing. Actually, so could Stragobor. So I'm going to set him... Oh, my bad. We're going to set him into extraction. We're going to start getting more out of this hut, because it's going to be worth having more resources here. Him having low skill, having only a 2 in it, that's not ideal. Not a huge gain there. I do want to gain more limestone because we're going to want to upgrade. I'm not too concerned about stone, and I'm certainly not concerned about straw. So this being the case, I think we can sit on that very well and be happy with it. Now with this, I wouldn't mind having somebody... so it goes to fishing skill or survival skill for this one. And he's got a skill of 3. I do want to start gaining some of these resources. I do like having him working here, though. Interesting. But we do have everybody in a spot, and everyone is doing all right here. Although I do have somebody assigned, by the look of it, to the chicken shed. No, I don't. I have them assigned to the hogs. I think we'll assume that things are okay. I don't need fish. It's just not bad to have it. It does tell me that we could use more people. Population of 12. And it's time to start thinking about some things. I want to decorate the area, obviously, and I also want to upgrade this, because we do not need to keep the level 2 workshop. It's time to move on to the level 1 workshop. It's time to move on to the level 2 and be able to build some better things. But it's also time to start thinking about the placement of things, and also even just the placement of our home in the first place. Let's see here. The roadway. Now, is this one's footprint ever so slightly larger? It may be. It may also be that the rotation is doing it. I built these roads around the original workshop, so it looks like we'll have to take out some of the roadway, the path that was built here before, and we'll make do and fix the pathway. So with this, and thank you for all the advice. It has been really fun to learn with everybody and to gain good insights into things. I'm thinking, why don't we position it similarly to the last time? Let's see here. We'll have it walkway right from the resource center and center it slightly off from there. And now we'll need our stones, and we will build ourselves up from there. Alrighty. Oops, there we are. Now, building here, I do love the fact that we have such a great setup with this mine. I do love that we have such a great setup in this area for fishing. And the town is going to have everything it really needs. The problem I have is I'm building on a hill. Building on a hill is interesting. You can get some really creative organizations on things. It mostly means you don't have a lot of flat terrain to just build a city. And if I wanted to build a very extensive and gorgeous looking city, this isn't going to be the area for it, since there's a limited amount of space to build by the waterfront. And there's also that whole thought in the background of, well, you did build on the edge of a river, quite literally right on the edge of the river, which, if we're thinking realism, then we're thinking we're on the floodplain. We're definitely going to be running into trouble in the future as the river swells in different seasons. Obviously, we don't have to worry about that in reality in this game. It is not... We don't have to deal with flooding. We don't have to deal with those kind of things. But just thinking from a perspective of realism, like, building this close to the river is probably not the best. Alrighty. We've got people working. We've got people moving. And we'll get ourselves organized here and finish up in the new workshop so we can start building more resources. We're building more items. Alrighty, we got Builder's Trance on, which is a wonderful thing. Some copper ore to toss into there. A lot of rot, and by the way, that'll be worth checking out in just a moment. I have the skill to gain resources from destroying things, but honestly, it doesn't pay back that much. It's just nice to get anything back at all, so it's okay to at least get something. And we'll continue the build. We need to start on one that gets us finished quickly. We're good to go. Oh, this is the open-sided part. Okay. Maybe I did want that facing the other way. Planks, 6 planks. So it looks like we're going to need 24 planks in total. We'll get this done. We have had people building planks, which means we do have some on hand. Alrighty, we should have 24 planks on hand. That way we could just move on. Alrighty, with the planks, we'll finish this up. Oh, I do need to get the barn workers focused on the correct things to be processing. We should continue processing the flax, so we're keeping up with those resources and getting our seamster to make more items. and get to a point where we can actually make more worthwhile things. I figured one of the things that might be worth doing, there we are. One of the things that might be worth doing is wandering about in the land for a while and seeing what else we can see. Okay, so having a workshop number 2 is handy for unlocks. It looks better, but honestly, is there much of a change? Of course not. It is only the level 2 version of the shop. It is okay, it's not bad, but it is nice to upgrade. But it does get me thinking about, is this really the place we want to be permanently settled? It might be time to take a little bit of a wander across the land and see what else there is to see. And while I'm doing that, I can highlight some things that are seen and gain some resources while we're out and about. Okay, so this place is telling us that we need more tools, which means that we've finally run out of stone axes. Now we'll have to see how we're doing for sticks. If I click up here, I can have all the crafting resources and shorten my scrolling. I have lots of oat and not much rye to process. Sticks, we are very limited on sticks. Oh, we have a ton of wheat to process. So let's get them doing that, and I'm going to gather sticks while we're running about, and we'll build some more stone axes. The one thing I want to do before that, however, is I do want to be sure that I actually have them started on being able to work. So I should at least build a stone axe so that it can say that it can work. So that while I'm gathering more sticks, we aren't losing production value while I'm out and about. And I do love the idea of doing the trick with having the stone axe for the final chops to save conditions on things. And that is a thing we'll do. Let's gather up those sticks so that we can build more stone axes, and so we can be ready to go. And then, I think it's time to take a wander across the land. We also have some questing to do in town. I have to decide if I want to bother with chickens. I'm not 100% sure I want to bother. Ah, the thing I said I would do as well. Oops. We're farming in the barn. We're currently working on wheat grain and oat grain and flax grain. We do not need to go crazy on the oat grain, and there's really not much of it, but there is a lot of wheat. And one of the tips from Graham, I believe, was that we should think about going with the flour from our wheat grains, because you can make more flour out of your wheat grain, and yeah, it sells for the same, but you're going to produce more flour from one single grain, which will end up getting you more money overall. So I love that tip, and I appreciate that tip. There we are. We should be good here. We can make fertilizer as well, but right now I want to keep them going on those resources. I can make the fertilizer rather quick from rot. So one of the things that I did consider was looking up in this area, since we do have this kind of region here, and I have already decided on some environmental decorations. I want to have a common area up there, and I want to have a common area down by the water, of course. And I could build houses up in this area. The only problem is that there's a lot of that rocky terrain, and we don't have to necessarily stay in this area to build our city. We can, but if we do stay in this area to build our city, then we are going to run into the problem of having lots and lots of alpine-like terrain, where we're building into mountainsides, building into regions that are a little more rugged, and our problem with that will be that it starts to become limited in the amount of space, and you have to be very cautious about how you're building in these areas because it may or may not look right. But it is a similar area to where I built in the valley, and my village there was expansive. I just kind of built way across the land and took over massive amounts of territory. And it was worth it. Some areas were a little more limited in how far you could expand, and some areas were more extensive and more useful. Those flat areas are nice though, because you could build those beautiful expansive cities that kind of feel like a modern city, not so much like a medieval time city. There we are. Ah, sky chickens. There we go. That is a lot of sticks, which should suit us just fine, thank you. And we do have our friend back there producing plenty of stone axes in the process. This is just me wanting to have extras on hand so that we can go out and about the day. It is worth considering what is our firewood situation like, since It is wintertime, we'll have to worry about that. Our insulation is not upgraded in our houses. One of the reasons for not upgrading the insulation to the highest level yet, or bothering to build a lot of new houses, is that in the back of my mind I am still wondering, is it worth sticking around this area? Got the cat on the lap, got the coffee, we're ready for the day. Let's see. I'm gonna go wander about. And also I know that chickens exist out there in a village. We'll have to find it. I'm trying to let myself discover all this stuff. I want to do that as what's happening here. Is like I want to be discovering the things and try not to look at other content too much to find out what's out there, just because I want to be discovering this as we go and just have some fun with that idea. But also at the same time I should be informative and also want to make sure that I have something valuable for y'all to gain out of it. Alright, and we're almost done making stacks of axes. I have an iron axe on hand, and I have a collection of stone axes. We're dropping 12 into here so we can keep one on hand for the final chops, which means we can put that stone axe. So we'll go to tools, go down to our stone axe, and we'll put it at 7. And from there, I don't need to carry my copper pickaxe with me, so I can leave it in my inventory of my house. I don't want to leave it in the general storage, because if it's in the general storage, it counts as an axe for extraction. Oh yes, and there is going to be a need to build some fencing around here, because otherwise it just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. I'm glad you're here too. Hey, old thing. We'll make a little area here for our goslings and our geese. The fences that I've unlocked so far, we don't have a lot. We just have the wattle fence. And I figure we can we'll make a little bit of fencing across here. And let's see here. We don't want to have it go too far. We want a decent area for them to wander, to waddle about. We'll make a little interesting of a shape to have that bow back end. And I figure we'll probably do a little garden in the front. Maybe we'll do some flowers in the front over time. So let's get from here to here, and then leave some space for that flower garden to exist here. Oh, oops, my apologies. Right click definitely cancels, not escape. And then from here, we'll build this out. Perfect. Alright, and then let's see, I just wanted to gauge how far out we had to go. And next we're looking for gates. Stick gates in our wattle gate. We're going to want to rotate this. I want it to open the other side. Let's see here, let's align you so that makes sense this way. And I want to get it close. So the idea here is I'm going to step forward back until we get just right in alignment. There we go. Cancel with right. And let's finish up that fence. And also, oh, looks like we did get a little lean on the angle there. Not bad. Okay, we'll start building these fencing and finish it in due time. So for now, I'll just get a start on it, just so we have these sticks in my inventory used and spoken for. There we go. With that, I'm going to make a common area over here so that our people have somewhere to, sit around together. The terrain does rise and fall over here. The shoreline does fade downwards, so it does. Oh man, look at that. It does level back out. This is definitely a bad floodplain area, since when it would flood, we would just go far out to here, being that it's such level ground. Interesting. Alrighty, let's head back to town and see if there's anything immediately. We'll see how Lobos did. And get our bow out and head into town. Let's see here. Oh, I was going to go back up here and just make the rot into fertilizer real quick. Thank you for the tip on the composter. I dropped a lot of stuff in there so that we would be set. 267. That's going to be just fine. There we are. So we'll go ahead and we'll make the fertilizer real quick before we head out. That way it's available. It's not going to be useful right now. That's a solid question. I ask myself that too. But you know what? Don't ask too many questions. Just let it be.
I love the smell of fertilizer in the morning.
Well, then you are in a great spot, I'll tell you what, because you're right next to me while I make my fertilizer. So how lucky are you? Alrighty. Oh, let's check on flour. Nope, flour's going to be over here. And, boing. Let's drop the fertilizer in here. Set. It's worth checking to see we have 90 fertilizer. Cool. Over this season, we should gain a lot more. Ah, the donkey shelter. Donkey shelter is worth considering. It is something we will want over time. Although, again, the same idea as before, where when I think about the technology, we're not going to be too far off of stables. Well, I say that, but I'm at 500, and we have all the way to 2,000. And part of me is just kind of like, why bother? Why bother with a donkey early on? It's just a thing, but maybe it's worth getting. We'll be on to food storage in the stable. I'm looking forward to getting the fold. That's where I'm aiming for next. And we do have a long way before a lot of these things are unlocked. I did not turn up the rate that you gain technology. I did not turn up the rate that you gain experience. I left it at base and just leaving it as standard challenge level. And that's both good and bad, since, yeah, it's nice to have the standard challenge level going on, but also it takes a long time to do just about anything. That's the trick. For this, we're just going to get some furs. At some point at our seamsters, at our sewing hut, we're going to want to have other unlocks, and that means we want to be able to make things with fur, since that's going to be something that makes a little more money over time. Stones and small bundle. This is from last season. It's just still here. So we'll leave it still here. Alrighty, so what's our goal here today? Our goal here is to get this first quest going, and then it's time to wander about the land. It's time to see what we can see. Is it worth building somewhere else? Is it worth taking the village and just starting somewhere in a different locale so that we can have more space to build outwards? Even this has more flat terrain than we do to expand into. It doesn't have the mine, it isn't built into that area. I could always just stick around where we are and try to get creative with how we organize the land and utilize that alpine-like area, that building in the mountainsides. We do get to suspend our disbelief quite a bit, since obviously there's no flooding to actually worry about, even though we would definitely want to worry about it. Alrighty, let's see here. And we have somebody offering a small quest. Let's see what this is about. Everything alright? What's this nuke here? A new game. Okay, what's the best game that you've got? Okay, let's see here. Stone parchment shears. Oh geez, you need to get... Oh, okay. Alrighty, so stone has been placed, has been prepared, okay. And we have somebody who's donating for the shears. You just need to collect them for me. Borrow from this board, okay. Alrighty. I'll be back as soon as I can. Stone, paper, shears. Fantastic. That's fun. Alright, I will do that quest. That's going to be fun. And it'll also make us go to another village, which is all the better. We'll get into... Tempted to shoot pigeons. Already thinking about them. Bang. Getcha. Alright, we'll find Derwin. And see what's going on with the old Oathkeeper. How's the apprentice doing? Okay. Hard time with Lobos, but have high hopes. Needs encouragement. I told him clearly everything. The young are easily distracted. Okay. Okay, it's gonna pass. So... Okay, you commanded the boy to focus more on his job again. He has a new task. Could you check on how he's handling it? Oh dear. I'm already scared. It would be wise to leave town for safety reasons before the chaos breaks loose. Let's see here. What is it this time? I hope you're not being too much with him. This time I've only asked him to investigate a quarrel between two residents. Oh boy. Well, let's see what he found out. I'm not expecting much out of this young guy, because he hasn't proven himself to be the best. And if he's gonna be the guy in charge of a conflict, ooh, I don't know. Okay, taking down crows, easy enough. Let's take it. Beerflation. I need to bring rye grain. That's a lot of coin, but it's a lot of grain. We'll have to do a comparison to see if that turns into the right equivalency. Fire to cleanse, I need torches and sticks, yeah, easy. And foxes, oh. I don't like killing foxes though. I'll have to set that aside. And then boars. Alright, looks like it's going to be a hunt-heavy season. The beerflation one, we'll see. The grain, I probably have this grain sitting around on hand, but do I want to give it up for 462 coins and a little bit of rep? We'll see about that. Crows and more. Onward we go. Let's see how Lobos is doing. By the way, we'll check the map to see where Lobos is. It looks like he is outside the walls by the front part of the village. We're aimed right at him. So I'm going to start making more clear on my choices on how I do things. And also make good informative ways to do things here. There you go. Look at that. Good ways to show how to get there. Here he is. Oh man. Okay, he's waiting to report on a conflict. How are you doing in that case? You've arranged everything? No report needed, at least not right away. Wow. That doesn't seem like you. What's going on? What do you think? The farmer named Ozabar sold some rotten seedlings and smelly grain to a stallholder. What else could you imagine these commoners arguing about? That's a serious case. Old grain can make people sick. I'm glad you did it before there was any harm. If you say so. I'm glad they did it like Railban. It's too bad they didn't last longer. Oh, they fought it out. So, you let them fight it out. I have no idea. I couldn't care less about following him. Case is over, but if you're curious, you can check on him. He lives with the cow lady. Oh, man. I have to learn about his fate. Your master's waiting for a report. Lives with the cow lady. Okay. Alrighty, so let's head back into town. Oh, no, we're heading right over here.
My fingers be this purple?
You know, maybe? Oh, did I just walk right by? Wait a minute. Our question mark just left us. So let's go back over to here, apparently. So we must have got a quick update, and I just did not pay attention to the update that just happened. Check to see where she is. Here she is. Hello. They're a lot better with without the shady onions. You know it. Is he doing okay? Haven't seen him in a while. It's unusual for him to be late. Hope he's not in trouble. No need to worry. I need to speak with the man. He must be somewhere since he never goes far from town to fields. He never goes far from the town or from his field. If you run into him, tell him okay. Thank you. I'll keep my eyes open. Check on the field. Then we should check the sick house for sure. Alrighty, let's see here. Oh, one of the squares has not been processed. Let's go back into the field. He is not in this area. Now let's go back to the sick house. And we'll see how our fellow is doing. And it looks like we're already drawing to a close on day one. What a busy day. Even though we haven't gotten much done, it is still a day. We'll have to do some more wandering further. Questing is going to take us a little time. Let's see, I can check on the sick house. Well, actually, the tavern's closer. We're going to check here. Yeah, now it's time to check the sick house. Oh, that poor guy. Yep, here we go. Poor guy. He's probably hurt pretty bad. Oh, here he is. Alright. Heard you were wounded. How are you holding up? You don't want an injury. You don't want any injury. Okay. Heard you're... I heard about the quarrel. I want to know what happened. He had a time of his life. Don't push yourself. He's still suffering. Forgive me, it's a lot of pain. I was sewn up by the barber surgeon. He told me I might live. Uh-oh. Oh boy. How'd you end up like this? Visited by the lad Lobos, my friend Mersaw, and they told me about some rotten seedlings, and they asked me to come along. Okay, the apprentice took us to a secluded space, and then stopped. He threw 2 axes under our feet and screamed, "Settle us like real men here and now." Holy cow. Whoa. It might be common where he comes from in trial combat. So, my unexpected quote, he picked up the axe, and he screams, "I trusted you." Oh, wow, that's awful. You're lucky to be alive. That wound to knock down a rage bull. Got no quarrel with the guy. Oh, just want a piece and go home. Okay. That's not good. Wow. Axe it out, huh? Let me axe you about the situation. Not the best way to solve problems. You know, wounds tend to get festered in these eras, and then people die. Oh, it seems he didn't try hard enough. I'll break him again if I have to. But this was good for... this time for good. What makes you think he deserves it? Took advantage of your lack of vigilance. I was robbed and my family was hurt by this crook. He even got to my little girl. Oxbow wasn't one of my suppliers. Only he knew where I stored my stock and my precious wine. And now, almost all of it is gone. Huh. Alright, let's see here. It's just a drink rain from fruit. It's not the only fruit he decided to take. He seduced my daughter. Ooh. Uh-oh. Start sneaking out at night. Oh, when I caught him, her clothes were all covered in red stains. They must have had the wine. He used to lure in. I almost caught them at it. Uh-oh. But he ran to the northern gate. Doesn't sound like she's doing anything against her will. She's almost an adult. This doesn't hold together. Wait, so this, by your reason, adds up to a quiet farmer making a night excursions with your daughter. Doesn't sound like she's doing anything against her will. If he were innocent, he would not run away. There's no doubt about that. You could use a more civilized way to get there. Oh, that's right. He has a wife. Oh, I didn't think about that. Okay. No, I should have thought about that. How sad that I spaced things out so much. Now time to talk to the wife. And she'll be on the outside walls by the front. So let's head this way. More running around. The questing. And in the evening, we'll probably have to start taking down some of these crows and boars. Boars will be easy enough. Crows will be easy enough. Foxes will be a little trickier because I don't remember the areas where the foxes are, but I can just as easily check the map to do that. And I'm going to be sad because I like foxes. Oh well. There we go. Alright, he's recovering under the barber surgeon. He'll need a rest. It's going to be fine. Don't worry about him. And let's see here. Why would anyone hurt him so badly? Well, he's accused of stealing wine and seducing his daughter. Yeah. Too shy to talk to even the cows. How could you do this? And start drinking. He doesn't drink? That doesn't match the story. Uh-oh. Something's amiss here. I think maybe our friend Lobos is actually the one doing the seducing. Oh, this guy. You made a mess of town again. Does the girl miss me? I mean him already? I knew it. That's what it was. Okay, and you need to follow Derwin again. Why are you so stiff? Never mind. So they say the farmer lived through it. Damn. I'm starting to believe you want both to destroy this town from within. Yeah, the old man Derwin isn't innocent himself. Nasty was his band during the war. I'm gentle as a lamb compared to him. So tell me what you're talking about. He's been resolving conflicts with Fist and Axe for years. Worked for him well, otherwise he wouldn't be here. Get your report ready and we'll see. Don't let your master wait. Let's see. We'll see who gets to laugh in the end. I'm ready to watch Lobos fall at this point. Interesting. So this guy is kind of a scumbag. We'll see what we can do about messing this guy up. And seeing that he does not continue here, I'm curious where we can take the quest line. He's accusing and breaking apart a family, and I took part in it unwittingly. No good. Alrighty, let's get back in here. I do love that there is more depth to the quests, a lot of things going on with it. Alrighty. You, sir. He developed it within his own twisted way. It's a shame he didn't inform me on his own. I could pat him on the back personally. He was the source of the quarrel, but held it back. Instead, he gave the axes to the conflict close and told them to resolve it. Did he really do that? I haven't heard anyone use that method to settle disputes since my time in the army years ago. Leave the boy to me. I'll deal with the aftermath of his actions. The one person was wounded, there's no worry. Fine, tell me what happened. Let's be done with it. Oh, interesting. It was Lobos all around. Sounds like him. Well, now, thank you for your details. I'll handle the further unrest between the affected families. I'd like to know why your covering is misdeeds. You see, I can't give up on you just like that. I've made a promise to someone, a comrade who died by my own hands, bled out because of me. I owe the boy and I owe his father. Ah, so his father. We both served under one king with the same band, and the man was my right hand. His name was Jurgis. Our unit was responsible for dirty work. He usually worked at night, preparing ambushes, eliminating enemies. Oh, nice. I've never heard of units, but this one you probably didn't leave many witnesses. Must be required a lot of wit and coordination. Yes. There's an unending demand for our work for various lords and petty nobles. None of them would acknowledge doing it publicly, but we've secured many in our seats. Yep, I would imagine so. The last day, the reward for our ambush was so high it clouded our judgment. Oh. Yep. So your strategy is that Lobos gets himself killed eventually and the problem will be solved? I would never break a vow once taken. Listen, you've done a lot for me, but there's one more thing I ask. There's an important load of goods coming next season. I'm sending Lobos for it, but he will need an escort since he's not from a licensed source. Oh, jeez. I feel sorry for you after hearing this. You can count me in. Now, knowing your dark past, it would be unwise to refuse. I'm not sure about all this, but I don't want to be the one who breaks promises either.
How is life treating you?
Okay, well, yep, I'll have to be cautious around this guy, obviously, if we're thinking about how this relates to our survival. An assassin. Interesting. Love the intrigue. Alrighty, off we go. It's already the end of day one. That was a fast day. So fast, as a matter of fact. Eat. And we'll do a little night hunting to finish things out. Get some water first. Straight from the cold river. We'll wander straight through the cold river. And onward to the other side, where we'll continue and wander for a bit. So let's see here. It wouldn't be a bad idea to check out what the other villages have on hand. I know I've been to Klonika. That's not a bad little village, but not much we need. And Astoya is over this way. I'm curious what kind of things we find while we're out and about. Now let's see here. More moose. Nice flat expansive terrain. There's a lot of space to build right here. And an awesome stone right there. This is a fairly wide area. There's a lot going on here. Looks like a small loggers camp has been stationed here. And we'll see if we can find anything useful while we're out and about in this area. A lot of logs, but that would require me to carry a lot back. We're way off from our required... We're way under for what we can carry, so it's okay to carry some logs off. Oh, stone axe. Unfortunate. Of all the things we could have found, a stone axe is a stone axe. It is more than what we had before, but it's a small thing. Alright, generally there are goods kind of hidden around the tents that are broken down, and sometimes around the trees on the outside of the area. We do have to gather up a bunch of stuff to make our sticks and our torches for the next day. We do have a quest that demands us to have logs on hand. Matter of fact, let's start tracking that one so we know what we're doing. The shears. She needs 3 particular items. We need crows and torches and logs and sticks. Yeah, it should be easy enough. And then foxes. And with wintertime, there's just a lot of idling time in the wintertime, since we have most of our farmland is not going to be interacted with, obviously, since nothing really gets planted in the wintertime, so there's a whole lot of just idling and people do what they do. Wintertime is a perfect time for questing and for considering where you're building and building more things, obviously. Well, for us, we'll do the questing and just keep on rolling through this. Do we have movement over there? Is there a person in this region? Do have some questing that's going to take us to different towns, so I think the next thing to do in time is to go to the next nearest town and look into getting the shears for parchment shears, rock, stone. Parchment, shears, stone. New level in survival. Now I think we already maxed out our main skill, so there's no reason to rush into getting it. Athlete is maxed out. Let's see here. Less damage received or more hit points. More hit points gives us a 10% bonus on top of 100 hit points, which gives us 110 to 120, rather than taking less damage, which is, again, if I take 20 HP in damage from a single hit, which would be a fifth of my health bar, I would take 10% off of that, which is only 2 hit points difference. So, if I was to take the one that reduces the damage received, it's less HP over time that you're impacted by. So, taking Strong as an Oak to gain extra HP is actually the better choice in this way. So now you have extra hit points to survive these attacks. Now I have 20 more HP, which allows me to almost survive one of those strikes that I just mentioned. I need 12 torches. I'll probably burn out this torch, so I'll make 13. We are late in the day, and we are at the end of when I would usually stop questing. And I'll just say that at this point, if you're here and you want to stick around, by all means, do so. But for the rest of this, it's going to be a little bit of night wandering, a little night hunting. Wintertime is good for that, since the brightness is a little higher in the wintertime with the reflection off the snow. Oh, it's regular torches. What a silly man. So with regular torches, actually, that's going to take me back home for that. What does it take to build regular torches? Let's find out. This will be under crafting materials, I believe. And under smithy would be my guess. No, actually not. Then, in that case, we'll locate it. Some of y'all are already going to know exactly where it is, and you're just like, oh man, come on, it's right there. Regular torch. Need to unlock it still. Sticks with leather. And we still have to unlock the schematic. That's what it is. I might have wanted to just buy the torches outright, honestly. But regular torches is a thing that I will make use of. Sticks and leather, that being the case, now we gotta start hunting things again. Gotta start being cognizant of that. And we are near deer, which will be a good one for that. This stone area is nice. This is a little hilly as well, though, so that's tricky with this, is that it's nice to see that area. The hills kind of limit the amount of building space. I wonder if it'd be worth looking at Astoya and looking over here to see what kind of things we can see. Foxes are up here. We'll head up that way, since we're looking for foxes, and I see boar up that way too. And since this is a night of hunting, let's get on it. We'll get some more foxes. We need to get 6 of them. We need to get 4 boar. Let's see what kind of stuff fell out here. Iron ore. This is fairly far into the future kind of stuff. Bags and coins. And some more iron ore. It's far future stuff for us, but it's okay. Doesn't hurt to have more. We do obviously have crows to think about as well. There we are. Now we should be seeing foxes. As a matter of fact, there's one right now. Alrighty. Regrettable. Alright, let's see here. We'll get closer to the water. Oops, that was no good. Oh, turned on me. Okay, so we've gotten 1 or 2 hits, depending. I think it was only 1, though. Being too quick and impatient with my arrow shots. Okay, so the question of what does a fox say is already answered. Oh, man. There we go. 1 down. 1 down, 5 to go. That's the tricky thing about the hunting quests, is as time goes on, there's going to be a lot more of them to hunt. And we already broke our first stone knife, so we'll build another stone knife. In time, we'll have more knives. And in time, we'll use better knives. For now, not a big deal. Ah, free rabbit. And we'll take the free rabbit. And we'll go a-hunting, we will go, a-hunting, we will go. And and get our copper arrow back, of course, since it's just sitting out there in the environment. And it'd be nice to have it and not waste it. Onward to finding boars. Doing the pulsing because it doesn't take up as much of the stamina over time. Badgers, by the look of it, lots of badgers. Alright, boars are further over this way. Now then, let's head over here. We can find more foxes as we go. Maybe we can find another POI that's interesting while we're out. Point of interest. Love the bridge. For this area, could be a decent area for building. A little hilly considering, right here. We would get rid of the trees. Okay, now we're going to aim to get a headshot at the start of it. One and two. Gotta get this boar skinned and find the other guy up on the hill. Now I think the first one took enough damage that it ran off into the distance. So let's see here. Now we gotta track down this boar that we injured. There we are. Right on it. This will give us some leather, which is great since we're building torches. And we also see deer up ahead, which is good because they also give leather. And we'll have lots of meat, which will be fantastic as well. Treasure chest. That's a fine find. Clay bottles, and copper ore. Not necessary. A wooden shovel. Nah, not necessary. Wolves in this area. Let's see. Next step is, I see Wysent ahead. My nemesis. Lynx are over there. Foxes here. Foxes, and then it's east here. And foxes over here. It looks like a lot of them to the east. Oh yeah, there's a good amount east of Piastovia. I think we'll head there. And we'll head there to finish out our quest line. We are starting to carry a lot of things, which is fine, but not ideal. I don't want to be carrying too heavy of stuff and making our travels slower. We'll go back this way, see if we can end up seeing one more fox on the travels. This is our logging camp that got destroyed. Actually, no, this is not the logging camp. Wine bottles are not worth carrying. They don't sell for as much. Yes, I could use them later. Absolutely. Apple juice is a good sell. So right now we're kind of prioritizing things that'll deliver the most amount of money. Abandoned supplies, rye bread. Sure. We'll take some free bread. We'll probably eat that right away. Look around with the torch out so we can see what we can see. Not much to speak of here. And that's just fine. Couple, cherry wine, that's worth it. Because that will sell for a good amount. Wine bottle, again, not the best. It doesn't sell for as much, and right now, since I'm getting up on capacity, getting up on the amount of stuff I'm having to carry and the weight that I have, I'm not so sure I need it. Alright, looking around, not too many foxes in this area. I've gotten spun around since I started looking around this site. Gotta pay attention to where I'm going. I'm definitely trying to head east. And there's our barrels that were turned over before. We'll make a quick turn this way to see if we get lucky and find another fox. And sure enough, that should be a fox, right? Unless we're close enough to the badger area. And it looks like we were close enough to the badger area. Yeah. So we were close enough to the badger area, so that's actually a badger. And I don't need it. We don't need it. Let's head back. We'll go across the way, see if we can get some foxes on the other side. Is it worth recruiting more villagers? I don't think we actually have any space right now. That's untrue. I have an entire house. What time is it? Oh my goodness, it's getting late in the early morning. Which tells me that I better start thinking about heading back to the village. This late night hunting will be great and all, but at some point we do need to actually head back. And we are way close to being over capacity at this point. I mean, we are over capacity, but... Oops. That was silly. I got impatient. I was going to try to shoot that, our beard here, but then when I let go of the... I was in a hurry and I accidentally... I didn't realize I had the button down, so... Free shot to nowhere. Alrighty, let's head out here. We'll see if we can get one more fox before we go. There we are. And let's see here. Oh, of course they would be going right towards each other, so I'm going to have to spook 1 and 2 of them. Here we go. Yes, that's a hit. Yep. Alright, let's get you, buddy. Alright, that's 1, and you're gonna come back and fight. Love it. Alrighty, we got 2 foxes. That's good. So now we're at 3 total, nearing the end of the quest already. Fantastic. This area over here, already broke our knife. Yeah, see, and I see what you're saying, Graham. When I look at how often I have to replace the knife, it is a little obnoxious having to constantly replace the knives. Totally understand what you're saying with that. So it might just be worth getting a better knife. Or at minimum, just use some of the copper knives that I can craft. Be done with that. I'm a little curious of this area over here. I haven't really looked in this space. So I want to see what this looks like. And we are just doing a wander. That is the goal of the day so far. Let's do a quick wander and see what we can see. So the train kind of goes up and down. And some bugs in the night. And I see that we have... It looks like we have a couple more foxes that we can aim at. Take shot at. Let's see. Wait a moment. It looks like their circle that they're going to travel in heads this way. Oops. Way premature on that one. That was just a pinch early. And when I say just a pinch, I do mean quite a bit. And that was way bad. Alright, that was a good shot though, huh? Right? This was a good shot. 1 shot, done. So, that was a good hit. Clean and quick. And a good distance away. We should be able to get this last fox over here. I'll make note of where it's headed. I do believe we've been to this part of the area before. This is that POI that we looked at before. It's an interesting area. I'm not sure this is really worth considering for building. Still a lot of that whole idea of being hilly and not a lot of flat space. This is better. This is fairly extensive over here. Pigeons. Of course, wolves. Let's see here. That just means that they're in the distance somewhere. I like this rocky outcropping here because it's got potential for mines, and that's... Oh, geez, right there. Oh, that was a good shot. And yeah, am I doing Counter-Strike by jumping? Yeah, sorry, back in... That's a classic move from back in the day. To do the jump to get away. To force them to... it forces the thing that's targeting you to reassess where it's going. So in a game like this, jumping is not the most effective thing in the world, right? Like, I'll just say that first off. That was, in a way, kind of silly. But also, by jumping, I also made it so that if it was about to do the attack animation and I happen to not be in a location where the attack animation can strike, well then, yeah, then we are actually in a good spot. This is an interesting area. Too bad there's not a mine. That would have been nice. And, oops, a little early. I'll just finish off the wolves in this area so we can safely travel. Okay, well, this turned into quite the night hunt. It's just too bad that I didn't actually get all of the things I was looking for. And this does start the next day. Already, I believe, right? What time is it? Yeah, it's 5:30 in the morning. Our character hasn't had a lick of sleep. And here they are, wandering around, aimlessly exhausted, and trying to shoot things with a bow and arrow. Yep, after getting no sleep, I'm sure that would be a great idea, right? Alrighty, with that, since it is already the end of the day, we'll count this as a full day and start of a new day, and I'll stop the recording here. I'm grateful for you joining me. Thanks for being a part of this. I hope you had fun. I know I had a good time. This was definitely an entertaining wander about day. Too bad there's no mine here, though. I was really hopeful.